Good morning and welcome to the 10 a.m. daily weather brief. To start us off, we'll take a look at our upper level winds for today, where we have our winds near the surface remaining rather sporty, similar to yesterday, and out of the northeast. However, they quickly die out in speed around 6,000 feet, where those velocities sit in the sub 10 knot range before we begin to see some slight increases in the winds aloft, moving up through the column, and winds shift to the southwest at levels more so above 20,000 feet. And as for our observed max this morning, we did see a max just above 3,000 feet, and that would be of 28 knots, likely coinciding with some of our gusty conditions today that we'll continue to see throughout the day. And then finally, closing out the upper level analysis for this morning, we also observed a freezing level just below 14,000 feet. Now, pulling up the most recent surface analysis chart, we do have a strong high pressure system of about 1,029 millibars centered over the upper northeast and stretching southeastward into the mid-Atlantic, and that is interacting with a surface trough along a stationary front that sits just offshore of here, and that interaction is working to create these breezy conditions we've been seeing over the past few days, and that will continue to see through today and into the early hours of tomorrow morning, with a wind advisory already having gone into effect. Now, throughout the day today, this offshore front will slowly begin drifting towards us and act more like a warm front and result in some increasing cloud coverage, and scattered rain chances will move into the picture as that moisture begins pushing further towards land and moving inland. Now, this unsettled pattern looks to stick around through early to mid-Wednesday, keeping things cool and mostly cloudy with a chance of light showers or drizzle along the coast. And that also coincides with a weak low pressure system that is continuing to develop just offshore. Then we should start to see some slight improvements by Thursday as a coastal trough and as that coastal trough and that weak low begin moving away from the coast, and by the end of the week and into the weekend, our pleasant weather will return as an upper level trough swings through the east coast and high pressure to our north begins to strengthen. That should help push that coastal system even further offshore and keep us under the control of that high pressure through the weekend. And through the weekend, we are expecting highs in the upper 70s through Monday with comfortable dew points, generally speaking, and generally dry conditions to accompany. And with that being said, there is some disagreement in a few model runs as to just how close that offshore low will be and will stay, and that could sway whether we see a bit more cloud coverage and if we see some slight rain chances sneaking into the forecast. But as of right now, things look to remain largely dry. Now, moving on to the 24-hour forecast here. We have largely scattered to broken cloud conditions early today and slowly building to become overcast, in which we'll see some rain chances working into the forecast, starting off as yellow and progressively increasing into the overnight hours and into the early morning hours, and then those rain chances hold on in the early morning and linger until around the afternoon hours. As for winds today, we're already in a wind advisory for winds in excess of 25 knots, and that is expected to continue through the day today and into the evening until tomorrow morning, or in the early hours. We'll see some slight dampening of those gusts, and it should be a progressive decrease as far as those gust values go. Excuse me. As for the ceilings in the upcoming forecast, we are anticipating the chance of some lowered ceilings and, as a result, some visibilities that might bottom out, and that will be in the overnight and early morning hours, and in the 4 to 8 range time period tomorrow morning, we'll see those chances increase even more, as there will be a surplus of moisture, and some cool temperatures overnight should set up for the possibility of some lower cloud coverage. So overall, just a breezy day today with some slight rain chances, but moving into Wednesday, we can anticipate some cloudy conditions and slightly breezy weather with a chance of showers, which might be accompanied by those lowered ceilings and visibilities, and a high of 74, and orange on the risk chart for precip and lowered ceilings. Wednesday night, mostly cloudy and slightly breezy conditions with a lesser chance of showers. They would be lingering from the overnight action, and some lower cloud bases still possible in a low of 64. And then Thursday, much less in the name of any weather-related risks, partly to mostly cloudy and slightly breezy, and a high of 76. And that brings us to the 7-day forecast, in which today we have that cloud coverage building in. We'll see those rain chances arrive in the later hours of today and into the early hours of tomorrow. And then we'll see the cloud coverage slowly begin to break up, where we'll hover between partly and mostly cloudy for a majority of the upcoming week. Our temperatures should sit in the mid-70s for the upcoming week and climb towards the upper 70s in the later half. Today should be the coolest of the upcoming week, and then our temperatures generally sit in the mid-60s, mid to lower 60s as we move through the week. Now that is going to conclude the 7-day outlook. We'll be back tomorrow at 8:15 with the daily weather operations brief. Hope everyone has a great day.